if you would like to see how I got this beautiful natural look on this client makeup tutorial, continue to watch. So to begin with, I cleansed her face with a facial astringent to remove all excess oils that was on her face. After doing that, I went in and just groomed her brows a bit. She doesn't really do her makeup. This was, I believe, her first time getting it done by someone else. So she just really wanted a natural look, nothing too heavy. So I was like, okay, I can give you that. So for brows, I went in with my Absolute New York brow pencil in the shade Smoke, and I just filled them in. After that, before sculpting them out, I moisturized her face with some facial lotion and then went in with my Fenty Beauty primer and just applied it all over her face. Usually you can put it in the T-zone. Sometimes I just put it all over, and then I use the damp beauty blender to blend in and press that primer into her skin more. So then to conceal underneath her brow, I went and I used, I believe it was warm walnut mixed with some MAC concealer. And I just cleaned up the bottom of her brow, and then I used a dense eyeshadow brush to buff it all out. So to prime her eyelid, I went in with the P. Louise base in the shade number 3, and I applied it all over her lid. And I went back in with that dense eyeshadow brush and tapped it into the eyelid to remove any excess product and to spread it around prior to putting the eyeshadow on. So for eyeshadow, I went in with a neutral, somewhat dark brown color, and I just used one of my Morphe eyeshadow brushes, and for the most part, I patted it on the lid. That's why you see me going back and forth so much. I was getting more of the eyeshadow from the palette. I used my natural brown Morphe palette. To be honest with you guys, I didn't plan on recording this look. It was a last minute thing, and I kind of was rushing, so that's why I really didn't show the products. I sped this video up. I really just wanted to show the process and then list some of the products that I remembered. So afterwards, in the inner portion of the eye, I went in with like a nice gold bronzish color from my Juvia's Place palette, and I added that in the inner portion of her eye. So then I went in with a gold shimmer and I applied it on her lid on the inner portion of her eye to make it pop. To remove that excess glitter and fallout, I applied lotion and then got a wipe and wiped it away. It's an easy way to make glitter and any fallout go away without wiping too much off of like the primer that you put on the face. So for foundation, I went and I used my black opal foundation palette that I have, and I just color matched her and I put it on, and then prior to blending I used my Urban Decay All Nighter spray and I sprayed her face, and I went in with my Ulta Flat foundation brush and I am patting it in. I'm not swiping, I'm literally just patting. And this is sped up, but you really want to take your time and press it into the skin and get all the corners, the sides of the nose, everywhere. I like go all around the world and I just continuously pat until I feel like it's finished. So then for concealer, I went in with my e.l.f. Camo concealer and I put it on the chin of her chin, her cupid's bow area, her bridge of her nose, her forehead, and underneath her eyes to conceal. Then going in with the damp beauty blender, I went and I blended out all the areas that I concealed. So you always want to make sure you blend it out, and then you just go and you make sure that the edges are not harsh so it blends seamlessly into the foundation and then eventually the contour. So usually simultaneously I'll be using a beauty blender and a foundation brush to make sure that those edges are nicely blended. But in this video, I just use my damp beauty blender for the most part. So to set her face, I went in with the Laura Mercier darker loose translucent powder, and I put it in all the areas that we concealed, and I also put it on the sides of her mouth where it usually creases. That helps to decrease the chances of creases. So then to melt in that setting powder, I went and I used the foundation brush that I used, and I use it to melt that loose powder into her skin. Then after that, I went in with my MAC Skin Mineralized Finish powder in Dark Deepest, and I used it to set the rest of her face. So for contour, I went in with my Black Radiance medium to dark contour palette, and I just did a powder contour on her face. So I did it on her cheekbones, her forehead, and on the sides of her nose. So I gave her some under eye shadow, just a light shadow underneath the eye, just to help it pop after putting on some black liner and giving her some bottom lashes. Then for blush, I went in with my Juvia's Place blush palette. This is very good for like clients who have deeper complexions. I went in with a darker plummy color and it was beautiful. So to help blend it out, I went and I used my Smashbox setting spray, and then I went in with my damp beauty blender and I just seamlessly just patted it into her skin to help it, you know, go together to make sure that it was blended nicely. So for highlight, I use that same Juvia's Place palette, and it comes with a nice deep gold highlight, and I used it on her cheekbones, chin, cupid's bow area, the tip of her nose, the bridge of her nose, and also on her forehead. I also like to give a little pop of highlight underneath the brow bone area. And then I go back in with my damp beauty blender and I blend it all in. You never just want to put something on. You want to make sure you get something damp, whether it's a beauty blender or if it's a foundation brush to press it all in. So I went in with my Juvia's Place matte liquid lipstick, a brown shade, and I used it to line her lips. I originally put a nude lip on her, but she wasn't really feeling it. So then I went in with my nude matte lipstick from Juvia's Place. I forgot the name of it. And then I just gave her some basic lashes. She did not want some real long mink lashes, so I just gave her some basic ones, and this was the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have more client tutorials coming your way, so just make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.